On Iran, the foreign minister of Iran sounded more like Donald Trump than Adam Schiff, and saying that substantial damage was done to their nuclear program on Iranian TV. And as I said, there's the House briefing today, and there's lots of conversations. We're going to talk about the media angle in just a moment. But Dan, where do we stand now on Iran going forward, leaving aside, as I tried to do all week, the debate about just how much the program was destroyed? Where do we stand going forward?
I think the big question now going forward is, what is the plan post-bombing? Is there going to be some sort of summit where Israel and people from Iran and the U.S. sit down and try to hash something out for the long run? I can't imagine this is it, that literally the leadership of Iran stays in place. How we verify or what is left of their nuclear program kind of remains to be rebuilt. I'm curious what the next steps are.
Sean.
So just following up on what I've talked about for the last couple of days on this program, there's a quote in Political Playbook this morning. A woman named Beth Sanner, she was the intelligence official who frequently briefed Trump in his first term, said, quote, "We can have it true that the bombing campaign was successful in destroying particular facilities or capabilities at particular facilities and still have questions about the Iran nuclear program and what might be left," which is literally consistent with everything I've been saying and the intel that I've gotten, which is the physical structure is probably extremely degraded. The understanding of the status of the nuclear piece of this, the enrichment of the uranium, is a question. And I don't know why this is difficult. I mean, the human intelligence, as I've said, we've always relied on the Israelis. They've actually been really good about being able to get sources into those things. And just on its face, it's not hard to imagine, when you bomb the heck out of anything, you have to wait until you can get sources on the ground into it to know that. The thing that blew me away in some of the quotes, frankly, from some of the members on both sides of the aisle, is the lack of understanding of how basic some of this is, right? That they were like, well, when we get sources on the ground in Iran, we're not going to get sources on the ground in Iran. We will not. I mean, I'm actually blown away at any member of Congress who says something like that. It just shows a lack of understanding. We rely on the Israelis for that, and we don't have human intelligence in Iran of that nature. Now, I'm not going to get into what we may or may not have, but the point is that the who's going to get that intel? It's going to be the Israelis. It's going to take some time. And I don't think there's any question. Now, the funny part about this is your quote from the Iranians. I mean, I even find that dubious. They're trying to play it like, hey, no, we got crushed. All of it's gone, right? I mean, the Iranians are trying to put out something, but I wouldn't trust what they're saying either.
Eric Erickson, the conservative, is like me. He doesn't want to spend his life doing media criticism. But sometimes we have to. I'll say again, President Trump did himself, I think, a disservice and the country a disservice by overstating and carelessly stating the extent of the damage to the program. I think that the administration reflexively attacking the media is a bad idea and not good for the country. And those things are, I think, obviously true. What's also true is when the press makes mistakes and then lies about it, it undermines my profession and it undermines their capacity to hold Donald Trump accountable. So lots of discussion this week about the CNN reporter who broke the story initially, matched by many others, about what the initial report said. There are two people who criticize using anonymous sources. I have no use for you. Everyone uses anonymous sources as part of journalism. You have to have responsible sources. You have to treat what they tell you responsibly. She said in her initial report, as you'll hear in a moment, that it was preliminary. What she didn't say, as you hear her initial report, is that it is labeled low confidence. Okay. Now, maybe her sources didn't tell her that, but watch her initial report. Okay. Here's her initial report. Ms. Bertrand, 104, please.
Yeah, Boris, so this is an early assessment from the Defense Intelligence Agency, which is the Pentagon's intelligence arm. And we do want to emphasize that the intelligence, of course, is ongoing. The collection is ongoing, and the assessments as a result of that intelligence could change. But as of right now, the DIA has produced this intelligence assessment that we are told was based on the battle damage assessment that U.S. Central Command has done following those massive bombings and strikes that the U.S. carried out inside Iran last weekend. And what we are told is that based on the assessments of the damage that these bombs implemented on these nuclear sites, that as of right now, it does not appear that they ended or obliterated Iran's nuclear program. Instead, they only set it back by months, according to people who were briefed on the assessment. Now,
okay,
these findings are obviously
guys, did you hear her say low confidence? Did you hear the words low confidence? I didn't. And we didn't play the whole thing, but trust me, she doesn't say low confidence. Here is a clip of her CNN colleagues after she's come under fire from the White House defending her reporting. This is 103, please.
We're going to be diving into, so it's great to get some more information on that. But at the same time, we do need to make clear that despite the emotional speech and outrage from the defense secretary, what he said about the DIA assessment is what CNN reported on. His issue that he took about it being preliminary, about it being low confidence. CNN reported on all of this. I was looking back just to make sure that
they go on and on saying on and again and again. She said low confidence. So again, credit to Eric Erickson for juxtaposing those two clips. We lifted that right from his Substack, which you should subscribe to. I'll repeat because I don't want to be misunderstood. They shouldn't attack the media unfairly, and the president shouldn't overstate the case. But this is not a case of attacking the media unfairly. Sean.
So for obvious reasons, this is very personal to me. I have been mocked, attacked by that one particular host in particular, not Sarah. So I'll leave it the other one, and several other CNN hosts for lying, misleading. And it's amazing that the same people who are so quick to throw stones, who are quick to judge others, who are quick to pronounce what's a lie, who ran an ad talking about a banana and an apple and that they were the arbiters of the truth, are now literally lying to the American people. And Kate Baldwin should have to make an apology. He wants to talk about everybody else in the Trump administration lying and spreading misinformation. This entire network, Jake Tapper coined the phrase big lie, wrote a book about it. It is amazing. I'm glad that Eric called it out the way that he did, called balls and strikes on it. But just stop and remember, if you are offended by anything I said or did during the Trump administration, but aren't equally outraged by how the media covers a situation like this, about how Jake Tapper lied about the original sin and Biden's decline, about how Karine Jean-Pierre stood at that podium and lied to the American people about the fitness for office of the leader of the free world, then I think you have your priorities backwards.
And I will say, Dan, before you jump in, if you're someone who says, well, Sean Spicer and the Trump administration is a bunch of liars and they lied and they weren't held accountable, you're welcome to marshal your facts. But you undermine your case when you go on and report something that's false. And then not only do you not apologize for it or amend it, but you have your colleagues come on and just lie about what you said and lie indignantly. How dare the White House criticize us?
Yeah.
Dan.
Well, I disagree with this. We don't know if she came out and lied because you said it, Mark. What we don't know is did whoever leaked that.
But Dan,
no.
Her colleagues lied.
Well, you guys got to let me finish here. You're attacking her that she lied. So you guys don't know.
I didn't attack her for lying.
You just said, okay, well,
perhaps
I and everyone else on here.
Dan, if it makes you feel better, I'll say that she lied.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. So your accusation is she lied. You don't know that now.
I'm not saying she lied. She was either wrong or careless or both.
But no, if she was not given this mark, she did not.
But then she was wrong.
Oh, no, hold on a second. You can't be wrong if you didn't know a piece. If whoever leaked it.
You're still wrong. Dan, you're still wrong. Your sources didn't do you a favor, but you're still wrong.
No, because 99% of what she just reported was true.
Correct.
Okay.
But framed there. No, but framed. But Dan, framed in an extremely misleading way.
No, it's not, Mark.
Dan, one of 13.
They were the first out. It is his Department of Defense. They were the first out.
You want me to play it again? You want to play it again and see what you said?
Play it
again. Play it again. Play it again and listen to how she frames it.
All right, break it down John Madden style. Let's do it.
Yeah, Boris, so this is an early assessment from the
Stop
Defense
right there.
Intelligence
True,
Agency,
true.
which is the
Assessment.
Pentagon's
Is that
intelligence
factually
arm.
true?
True.
And
It's
No,
true.
but the key
No,
phrase.
gentlemen.
Playing it. It's true, Dan. I give her credit for that. Early assessment.
Okay.
She's emphasizing it. Good.
Not lying.
Keep
Continue.
playing.
There's a hold on. The key phrase though, this is where I differ. When you say that something, whether it's early or late, is a timing issue. The confidence level. No, hold on. I want to be clear because you're right, Dan. So I'm trying to actually say this. So just slow everyone's roll. I was about to say you're right on that part. Where I have a problem is that something being low confidence is the key here. If I don't have a ton of, if one agency out of 13 makes an early assessment and says we don't have a ton of confidence, but it kind of might be, and you leave that part out, trying to pretend that the American people should have not value what the president's saying because when his own intelligence agency, 1 of 13, is saying low confidence, that's an important fact.
Hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm exercising my right as if we were, or my responsibility, I should say, as if this were a real morning meeting because we've used 15 minutes up on this. Dan, finish up what you want to say, and then we got to move to 7 other topics.
Yeah, just the rest of it was going to be that her colleagues who then came on air should not have said what they did, which is that they initially said low confidence. That I agree with you about. But to me, attacking her for her initial report to me is just the Trump administration trying to cut her down.
She framed it like a bombshell, and even if she didn't know, it was not. It was.
And they left
low
a
confidence.
key part of this out. And by the way,
but even if they didn't know, it's not a bombshell.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.